Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel, and in today's video, I wanted to share with you really the question of who has the leverage. What is leverage? What does that really look like? What does that mean? And do you have the leverage as a commercial driver? Does the transport company that you're an independent contractor for, do they have the leverage? What does this really look like? So we'll go ahead and get right into that. So first, what does leverage look like in the application of business? For instance, if someone was buying a rental property, of course, whether that's a home or an actual commercial building, they're going to be buying that, paying interest on it, but with the hope and the understanding of charging more and being able to retain more than it actually costs. So they're profiting and they're using the leverage of that building used for whatever purpose. Even though it does have a cost to it, it's actually able to have a higher yield than what they're actually putting into it. So being able to crank up the scales, or let's say by 1, by 2, by 3 properties or something, the more you do that, the higher the return you're going to have, because each property is going to be able to give them more money in return back to them. So the idea of that is really just a lever, literally cranking up a lever, going, like on a cruise ship or some type of, submarine or something. The idea of literally pushing that lever, it's a small degree that they're pushing the actual literal lever. However, it's a greater force that they're getting for the output. So as a independent contractor, do I have anything to where I could leverage something to have a much greater output than what was put into it? So from the very beginning, if you're a single pole non-CDL guy like myself, you would probably start out with using your truck as a lever. You buy the truck, you've got a monthly payment, probably you're paying interest on it. However, if there's enough loads and it's paying enough and your costs are met, you would eventually have profit above that. And so your truck can be a lever for multi-hull guys who have CDLs. If you have a trailer or maybe a haul and tow setup, you're using that equipment, that truck, that additional trailer, whatever that looks like, you're leveraging those items, using it as a lever to crank up the maximum output of that use of that equipment. So not only are you, if you're running your business efficiently, you're paying for that equipment, and eventually it'll be paid off to where, and then just maintaining it, it'll be a much higher yield, but you are, in the meantime, making more money with that equipment, making the maximum yield, essentially. So that's what it might look like for a independent contractor driver. And then what does it look like maybe on the actual RV transport company side, for a DOT authority company? Well, they are leveraging their authority for us to lease our trucks to them, because they have the loads, they have the connections, they have all of the office and DOT work already taken care of, all of the just everything, all of the communication and dealing with the problems directly to the manufacturer. They are handling all of those things. So they are leveraging their placement with the manufacturers, their contracts with the manufacturers, so that we as drivers can be the output by being able to fulfill what they have actually agreed to with the manufacturers. I'm sure across the board, I'm sure I will miss a few things, or maybe many things in this, but I just wanted to bring this up and kind of throw it out there. Let me know down in the comments below what you think, but the idea of a lever being used, everyone to a certain degree has levers at their disposal. You have leverage to a certain degree in most things in life. You put in a certain degree of effort or dollars or whatever it looks like, and potentially you can have a much higher return. The stock market, if you continuously put money in, it may be pretty low right now, and getting damaged pretty badly due to everything going on. But if you put money into that, the long term is that you are going to have a much higher yield with the returns down the road, the dividends and all those other things. I'm not trying to get into the weeds here, but what I'm trying to get into is who has the leverage. Well, we all technically do have some leverage. However, let's think about this in an applicational situation. So yes, you're trying to use your truck to leverage more money out of the end goal. You wouldn't be taking loads if you didn't think it was actually profitable. By definition, if you took a load, even though it was maybe a lower paying load, there was enough profit in it, or that it was worth it to you to actually take it. Your actions speak louder than your words, and so for you to take a lower paying load means it was at the very least worth it enough to cover your costs, whether you truly are or not. You at least think it is, and you're at least going to be able to pay certain bills, whatever that looks like. So what's the biggest, kingpin of leverage in RV transport? And essentially, in my opinion, and I'm sure there's lots of different directions you could go with this, but the biggest leverage that's in use, that's a tactic that's happening on a moment-by-moment basis, is the RV transport company's load board of loads that are set at certain prices, certain pay rates. What we're willing to drive for is a part of the leverage. They have that leverage. Depending on what company you drive for, if you haven't driven for a company yet, you'll find out soon enough that the pay goes up and down. There is no, I've been here for 20 years, so I get a higher. I think some people have some programs in place to give you like a penny. I think Synergy does have after like 1 million miles, we get an additional penny, and then after like 2 or 3 million miles or something, loaded miles, I think there's like 3 pennies or something. But for the vast majority of people, 99% of people, they're not there yet. And so for us to have the pay going up and down, and we are told that that's because of the price of fuel, and largely I think it's largely bogus in a lot of different scenarios, but seemingly, I mean, it is true. We're absolutely getting paid more money right now in 2022 than we were in 2016 when I first started. The cost of diesel was less than half. So there is a difference there. But for a RV transport company, for a carrier, for somebody literally who has worked all the deals, they have the authority, they have all the back end office or front end office, taken care of for us. They're out to make money, of course. They have every right to. That's not a charity, okay? But for them to have different loads going different places, and depending on the time of year and the cost of fuel and all that, they can raise or lower what they're going or what they're willing to pay us as drivers to haul these campers. So this is not a video to all these dirty RV transport companies. They're not paying us what they should, and they better get their act together or else. Which is kind of another whole point, which I will go into right now. The idea that if we all just stop taking load, I've heard it many places in RV transport. I've seen it on the Facebook groups. I've heard it from truckers at truck stops, all sorts of stuff. Guys saying, well, if we all just band together and just stop taking loads on this day or that day or whatever, at some point they'll have to start paying us what we're owed, what we deserve. They'll have to pay us more. And the truth is, we are willing, evidently, the market says, literally, us as a community of drivers, the marketplace, to do what they need done for them, it wouldn't be that low if the market didn't say it was okay. So whether you like, I'm not saying it's a great thing or a fantastic thing. I'm just saying it wouldn't happen. They wouldn't be able to lower rates and people still take those lower paying rates if people weren't taking them. But they are. And they are because they have to pay bills. And most people don't have the option. Most people have debts. Most people have to pay monthly bills. They couldn't wait out the RV transport company. That's the thing. It's if you're playing cat and mouse, if you're playing chicken, who can wait longer to raise the rates? That's the question. How long could you go without taking a load? And right now we're finding out. People who haven't taken loads in weeks. That's the leverage. We're seeing lower pay rates right now, specifically right now, and fuel has gone down, but actually it's gone right back up. So that's kind of bogus. And pay rates are still on the lower side. Absolutely. Even before the $1.60 minimum, the 40-cent incentive, we're below that. Absolutely now. So the question is, who has the leverage? Who is able to withstand and play the chicken game? And it's ultimately, it is the actual carrier, the company, the RV Transport Authority. They have that leverage right there. Different people in different positions have different angles or degrees of leverage in different areas. But when it comes to this, our pay rate, they know that we, as a whole community, at some point, there will be drivers who are willing to take. The market literally says, yes, a portion of us are willing to take these lower pay rates because we'd rather have, something small of something rather than all of nothing. So for us as a community, we are literally telling and losing, essentially, which we lose that leverage. We can't say we are not going to take these loads or something until you pay us more. And then, we can't withstand that. Like, we're not going to get more from that than we put into that. If we're trying to pull that lever or push the lever of, well, we're not going to do this because the cost of fuel and everything else is going on, at a certain point, that leverage is lost. We can't do much at a certain point. We have to pay our bills, or we just quit altogether. And there's seemingly a pretty good mass exodus of folks leaving RV transport, seeing on the Facebook groups, seeing trucks for sale, all sorts of stuff. And that's not uncommon, because each year there's a purge, there's a squeezing or a tightening of the market, and then there's an influx. There's a mass growth that happens when we're in the heavier season. And so in this degree, in this position, if you get nothing else from this video, this is it. The leverage that you have, the position that you are in, determines the leverage that you have. As an independent contractor, there are certain things that you do have leverage, but there's others that you don't. The authority who has the loads sets the prices and knows how far they can drop prices to be able to get them to be able to be turned. They have to be willing to just wait a little bit longer than the market share, than the marketplace actually says, we can wait. I'm not trying to be vicious or attack any company or anything like that at all. I'm just telling you how this is in every industry. This is not just RV transport's the only thing in the world like this. What in the world? This whole industry is toxic. This is the economy. This is everything. Ultimately, I have no anger or hate towards anybody. It is what it is. This is the situation, like it or not. So RV transport companies have the leverage of the pay rate, which is essentially everything for us. Like, there's lots of things they can do that they can try to leverage against the manufacturer. Like, it goes all sorts of directions. It's a spider web of leverage. Who has control, who doesn't? Just as an example, my dumpster rental business. I actually just got my roll-off truck operational, so I'm super excited about that. I'm going to be putting out a video here shortly talking through everything with this new truck. Anyways, if you're curious, you can go to my other channel, subscribe to that, and at some point here shortly here, hopefully within the next week or so, I will be having the new video up for that. But in my dumpster rental business, something that I've noticed that is different than RV transport, because I've been in RV transport for 6+ years. My dumpster business, it's been almost 2. On paper, it's been almost 2, but I've had rentals for the entire 2 years from when I first started. So what I've noticed having this company that I'm in control of, that I'm the owner of, is that I'm now in a different position. I don't have the same type of leverage. Of course, it's a different industry, but I don't have the type of leverage that I did as an RV transporter. I'm the one who sets what it costs, what I'm going to be paid. I charge for the dumpster, for how long they have the dumpster, for how much they put in the dumpster. If there's overages, if they put things that they shouldn't have put in there, wet paint that goes crazy everywhere, which has happened, I've charged extra for that. If it's a customer that's actually further away, guess what? I charge a higher fuel price. I actually charge, after 15 miles, I include 15 miles of a radius around my address for included in the day price. And then after 15 miles, I charge $3 a mile. I was just at $2 a mile, and on my website, with one delete button hit and one 3 button hit, and then update, I changed my pricing like that. I changed my leverage. You want me to go further out to you? You're going to pay a lot more for fuel. That's a trip there, a trip back. And then you go pick up the dumpster, it's a trip there and a trip back. I have got to be compensated for my fuel. And with prices going up, my prices at a moment's notice, I can do it on my phone, straight to my website. I can change my prices like that. And the truth is, RV transport companies can do the same. They can go on the load board, and they might not change older loads, but if they're desperate enough, they can put a little bit more money on some of these loads that they're a little nervous about. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to be delivered in time, because we're supposed to get these delivered by a certain date. So they'll put a little bit more money on there and see what happens. Maybe somebody will take this higher paying load. They put 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents. It's a hot load going to Canada. Well, they know they're trying to fulfill this large Canada load, or large Canada contract with all these dealerships from the manufacturer. So we're willing to put a little bit more money into it to be able to get these all gone. Okay, similar to the manufacturer. You've heard the what is it, $400? I think it's over now, but the incentive from the manufacturer, like an additional $400 or $200, whatever it was, several $100 worth to get these Canada runs up there. Why? It was, if they did that and paid more money, it's because they were making a whole lot more money. They were charging a whole lot. They weren't doing it out of the kindness of their own heart. There's a reason. They were pulling a lever. They were manipulating a lever, getting more than they actually had to put into it. So I just want to put this out there, because in different people have different levers they can pull. As a dumpster rental business owner, I have been hesitant, and it's just a new environment to be able to pull levers to directly change my pricing to what I get paid. I've been used to in RV transport, I get paid $1 whatever per mile going a certain direction for a non-CDL load or this or that or whatever it looks like, and I either take it or leave it. There is no negotiating. There's been a couple times where they were very, very desperate, and I said, put 5 or 10 cents on there, and we'll talk. If you're that desperate, I'll do it. If not, you can find somebody else. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but that's just the situation. So we all have levers. Understand the levers that you have at your disposal. Other people have different levers that may look different. For me, I now see that I have a certain type of leverage system as a independent contractor over here versus as a business owner over here, it's different. Now the truth is, if for my dumpster business, if I raise my prices too high, I get no customers. Period. I mean, 10 grand for a dumpster ain't gonna happen. So there's checks and balances of things, how they balance out, and seeing what you can, what somebody could get away with, what's actually reasonable, where the kind of sweet spot where some are willing to do these, some maybe not be. It's a leverage game, and so being able to think through that, I think, can be a help to you as an independent contractor. And I would encourage you, as I've been sharing my whole journey with you for a couple years now. I started my own business, number one, for several reasons, but I wanted to be home more, trying to get off the road to a certain degree. I still like traveling and doing some of this stuff, but different people in different positions have different leverage, and the more you understand why or how someone has leverage and what you can do, are you utilizing the leverage that is at your disposal? To be honest, I kept my additional fuel surcharge at $2 a mile for my dumpster business, which is really 50 cents per mile, loaded or not loaded. And I took some time. Honestly, it took me some time to really be willing to raise my price, because I'm just so conditioned, like, man, if I raise my price at all, people are just going to say no across the board. But what I have found out with my dumpster business is that people are just, first of all, grateful that I even pick up the phone and say I'm willing to serve you and give customer service, but they're willing to pay the price because they know fuel has gone up. They understand and they see that. So hopefully this was a help to you, just kind of understanding what's really going on. Why there's so many moving factors, moving parts, what truly is happening around us, and how can we better understand it? Because if we better understand it, hopefully we can make better decisions going down the road. So with all that being said, hopefully you have a great day. Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe, hit the like button, whatever you want to do. Have a great day, guys. God bless. See you.